Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, today we're going to talk about a topic that I had suspected was true
Mm-hmm.
during COVID, but now
Cooties.
new evidence has come to light.
Well, this is scary and alarming. And we heard, I heard about this kind of thing during kind of like right after the cooties scare, major scare was
Greg Reese
happening.
did a report, remember?
Yes,
It was like 2021. He did a
yes,
report
he
on
did a
this.
report on this, exactly. But now, I guess a team of people have done an actual official study on the vaccines, the pokey pokes
Yeah.
from the cooties, and this is just so disgusting. So it was four statisticians, two pharmacologists, and one former FDA regulator who did this study. And their study ended up being 147 pages of all of this stuff that they were researching about the pokey
Wow.
pokes. Um, but it's all documented now, I guess.
I don't trust any of those federal regulators.
I know, but I get he's former, so maybe,
Maybe he's a
he will,
whistleblower.
yeah. But and they said, according to this report, it said that he filed a case with the military tribunal, and the case number is GT 2026-0441. So I guess we could look that up if we want to, if our listeners would want to look that up. But anyway, the
Okay.
report says that there were 12,000 lot numbers that were cross referenced with the VAERS, which is the Vaccine Adverse Reporting System,
Now
Adverse
hold on.
Effects Reporting System.
Now something you got to keep in mind with VAERS too is only between 1 and 5% of adverse reactions end up on there.
Right.
And what I heard was the main deterrent was how difficult it is to actually report an
Mm-hmm.
adverse event on there.
And I've read actual like real life accounts of people that have had problems with certain things, and they try to go make a report on this system, and they say it's nearly impossible. And they ask the doctors to report it, and most of the doctors just flat out tell them, no, I'm not going to do it because it takes too much time. So what's
They
happening?
probably get curtailed on their kickbacks if they go out and do a VAERS report.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have some friends who are nurses, and they actually had told me flat out, they said that they had people who came into the ER with obvious severe adverse effects from the pokey pokes, and the nurses like wrote it all down and documented it. This is a good friend of mine, who one of a couple, but this one friend of mine told me that she would document these things, and it was obvious that it was a side effect from the pokey poke, and she would tell the doctor, and they would actually just they would say it's too much to report, and they would actually um one of my friends told me that the lady who does the inputting, like putting the information in the system, um just like deleted all the stuff because she was told to, and they said it was just too much information, and
It's too much.
she just deleted it all. So the hospitals were telling the people that were inputting the information not to put that information into the
Yeah.
system.
You don't put that in there. That's revealing too much to the
Isn't
plebs.
that horrible? But anyway,
So VAERS is
we're
not accurate.
we're no, it's not accurate at all, and we're probably going to be completely banned for even talking about this,
Oh,
because
totally.
if they're telling the hospital workers not to put the information in, and we're talking about it, They're gonna be like, this episode is banned.
This is misinformation.
But anyway, back to the main point of this, which was about this report that these people did on the lot numbers. What they found was that there were specific lot numbers that had 4,000% more effects than others, and they weren't random.
They
They
weren't random.
weren't. They were not random, which is even more scary and alarming. So there was one group of lot numbers, and that one they said was pretty much just a placebo. It was probably water in a vial. There
Which
was,
I was thinking that when it first came out, because some people just got no effects.
yeah, there was nothing, like nothing in it probably. And the second group was moderate effects, like there might have been blood clots, there was fatigue, some hospitalizations, um, people not feeling good after they received it. And then the third group was severe catastrophic events like stroke, heart attack, and death. And
That's like that girl who went to the podium. She was like one of the first ones to
and
take it.
she dropped,
She goes,
yeah.
uh.
So that third group, so the second group that had the moderate effects had 300% above baseline, and the third group had 8,100% above the norm of bad effects. And the thing is that they were distributed in a pattern. So no single hospital, no single city would trigger a statistical signal about what was happening. Um, and it wasn't random. The first um, group that got the most deadly um, the batch that was like the deadliest, was distributed to zip codes that had a higher concentration of veterans, small business owners, and first responders. And so that kind of population is probably going to be not as compliant, and they would resist like mandates and stuff like that. They got the most deadly, catastrophic batches were distributed at a higher rate to those zip codes.
So they're literally targeting what could potentially be dissenters
Exactly.
with the most poisonous one.
Yeah. And then the medium group that had, like, the moderate side effects, those primarily went to urban centers that, populations that have high media consumption. And
Yeah,
they're the type of people that would report like not feeling well or something, but they'd be told that that was normal, and it was like to be expected and everything's okay. And they're the type of people that would accept that and then go back for boosters. And then
probably.
the um the placebo group, the group that probably didn't get anything except water, um, that was distributed to like politicians, media heads, and
People who had to
pharmaceutical
take it
people.
as a like a ceremonial formality in front of the camera.
Yeah, like what was that guy? I want to call him Ebola. Borla. The
Robert Borla,
he wasn't he like the head of
Pfizer.
Pfizer? Yeah. So he, I'm sure, got that pokey poke, and like Biden got that pokey poke.
Totally.
You know,
He's not going to take the actual Pfizer pokey poke because Mike Yeadon famously said, everybody who gets this, it's just a ticking time bomb.
5 years you'll be dead.
Yeah.
Remember that French guy? He was a scientist, an older man, and I remember he was talking about that in the beginning, and he said, anybody who got this real thing within 5 years will be dead,
Yeah.
which is terrifying.
So it sounds like there was some that were immediate, like you died pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
Then there was some that are like a slow kill,
Mm-hmm.
and they're definitely to kill you, but it takes longer. And I also think that they mentioned media consumption as far as why they target it with that medium one. I think I'm starting to think the pokies have something in them that makes people compliant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has some mind control that makes people um more gullible.
I think so too. And so the fact that that those batches were distributed more into the areas that have high media consumption, and that those people would just even accept a side effect but then go back for more, kind of proves that point, like
They're conditioned.
they're conditioned. So whatever they see, whatever they hear on the media, they're going to believe it and go along with it. So they're easily gaslit because whatever they're experiencing in their real life, it doesn't have to match with what they're being told. You know what I mean?
They
So
can be contradicted.
they could be being told something on the news that doesn't go along with what's actually happening in their life, but they'll believe the
You
news.
go, oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, that doesn't really make sense, but
But
let's go play cornhole.
but CNN told me to do it, so okay.
CNN said it's okay, so I guess it's fine. So I've kind of always suspected this because I remember I was thinking to myself, how come everybody's not dropping dead from the shots? And I think what they did was they rolled it out in a way that was going to still be very deadly, but not get obviously caught on to.
Right.
I
Because
think they're
if
kind of hiding it.
Yeah, because if they just rolled this thing out where it was, they said they wanted to reduce the population to what was it, 500
500
million.
million.
And if
That
they
was on the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, if they just rolled this thing out and just like killed like 80% of the population like immediately, it would be really obvious what was happening, you know? So I think
Yeah.
their plan was to just trickle it in, and to trickle it into the areas of people that they especially wanted to get rid of, but then to, like you said, have a slow kill across the board. So they would still be reducing the population, but just not as fast. And then what they could do is like what you've described before in that term that I think is so perfect is they fleece you and then slaughter you.
They fleece and slaughter.
So people are suffering long-term health problems, and a lot of them aren't even attributing them to the pokey pokes. They're just like, oh, well, I've got blood clots now. I don't know why.
Totally.
But now these people are going and having all of these medical procedures done, which cost a lot of money.
Was that the majority of the people who got the shot administered to them? Was that middle group?
I think so. Yeah.
So that was the majority. And I think
I
because you know what probably happens with those people too is, first of all, taking the shots themselves was mind control.
Yeah.
Because there was people like you and me on the streets literally before the shots were available, we were out there and saying, no, 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 don't take this. Remember the dad and his son?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, son.
Yeah, totally.
Whoa, that's interesting. Okay, come on. I think those people got corralled into the healthcare system. That middle group that got all of those middle shots, they got corralled into the healthcare system because their whole idea was get these people into big shawarma because the middle shot had a bunch of side effects. It had a bunch of side effects, but they weren't like you're going to die immediately.
Yeah.
So you're going to go treat those side effects by going into the healthcare system and get other big shawarma.
Yeah.
So they're going to fleece you
Right. And
first.
and I like I said before, I think there's probably a lot more of this going on than what obviously what they're going to admit to, but also what the people are going to even accept or admit to themselves. I think most people aren't going to accept the idea that that whatever their problem is was caused by that. And I think what's so insidious and sick is that um, it's really hard to prove too. So, um, it's like if you have this health problem that's showing up like 2 years after you took this thing, you can't like
Attribute it.
you can't perfectly attribute it to that thing, but all of the research shows that those things that are happening were potential side effects of it,
It was still insidious, and
Yeah.
then that's
And
true.
and the other insidious thing is not everybody is having the same side effect. So it's not like everybody's having
Guillain-Barré.
Guillain-Barré, or not everybody's having blood clots. It's like it affects people in different ways. And I had a theory about that, like in the beginning. I think what it does is it attacks whatever is like the weak link in your body. So everybody's kind
We
of,
learned that
yeah, everybody's kind of got like different issues in their bodies that are
weak,
weaker than,
like if your liver is compromised,
yeah.
it's gonna know that and go attack it.
Yeah, so I think that's the way these things are working too, is, it's attacking people in different ways, and I think it's attacking the weak link in whatever your body has. Um,
I think it's also got mind control in it.
yeah, and then that,
It renders people into this state that are just complete zombies.
and not only that, but the whole aspect of how this is happening like years later and in different ways to different people, that's mind control too, because people will just be like, oh, it's, earth modification, or it's whatever, you know, but like, just one small example, like there's this baseball player that we kind of follow, who is a favorite. And he was out like half the season because of blood clots in his arm. And he's a healthy young athlete. That doesn't sound normal to me. You know what I
That
mean? Like
sounds weird.
how often did you hear about that before? But they're just talking about like, oh, that's just so unusual. And, he's got these blood clots. And it's like, well, didn't they like tell all these big athletes that they had to go get that pokey poke?
Totally.
You know?
And the cause of death is never going to include vaccine damage. They're
No.
not going to say vaccine damage on cause of death. They're
No.
going to always just have the cause of death be it was earth modification
Mhm.
or it was some other cause. No, 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 we have this uptick in this and this. And then they come up with all these, like we've talked about, these faux conditions that are actually side effects from the vaccine,
Yeah,
but they're going, this is a new disease that we're dealing with now.
right. So I think this is a really important thing to discuss, but also think it's timely because of this whole antivirus scare that's happening right now.
Totally.
Because this is rolling out kind of the same way that the cooties rolled out. You know, it's like in a sort of isolated area with a group of people that they're supposedly keeping, isolated and quarantined. And they're telling us, oh, it's nothing to worry about, like on a mass scale or whatever. But they're working on a vaccine for this already. So it's like, remember when cooties started, they were like, oh, there's this weird new sickness that is happening in China, and these people are just dropping dead, but don't worry about it. And then it was like, oh no, now it's here. And then it was like, you don't need to like wear a mask or anything. And then it was like, oh, you better wear something. And then it was like, oh, everybody has to wear it. It like progressed. And I could see that,
And then Fauci was like, you can actually double mask.
yeah. And at first he wasn't saying that at all. And so I could see that this could be following the same game plan. They could be rolling this thing out the same way to try to get more people to get another pokey poke, and they're going to have like create this whole hysteria again, like they did with cooties, and like stay in your homes, don't talk. They don't want anybody sharing information or getting together. So they want everybody to socially distance, which is so retarded. But I'm hoping that people will just dismiss this like they dismissed monkeypox because, hopefully more people have woken up by now and they'll just say
What we don't want
it's
them
a
to
rat disease and
what we don't want them to dismiss is this targeted batching that they did.
right.
That is murder.
That's murder.
And they did murder on a mass scale.
And I, you know, this sounds like murder one to me because it's premeditated
Totally
on a
premeditated,
mass scale.
targeting
Yeah.
certain populations based on demographic data.
Yeah.
That's
So,
like extermination.
right. So, um,
And people might be like, yeah, that's ridiculous. No, it's not.
it's not ridiculous. I,
That's
I
what's
think,
going on.
I think people need to wake up and realize that none of this stuff is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why so many people just want to bury their heads in the sand and just pretend this stuff isn't happening. It's kind of ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, it's kind of like when the paranormal activity takes place and the husband goes to check it out and he goes, holy shit, there's a ghost in the living room. And the woman just goes, I'm watching Tom and Jerry in here. Fuck that. I think that's how it is.
Yeah,
Because they don't want to know.
they don't want to
Nobody
know.
wants to know this.
No.
Our government did this.
Yeah.
How insidious.
I think, I mean, it's kind of
Fat Steve doesn't want any data. When
no.
he's on the cruise, he wants zero data.
Right. And I think there's too many people fat steving their way through life.
Totally.
You
They're
know,
playing cornhole.
they're taking a blue pill every chance they get. And
There's
I
so many people going on Trivago and getting their best hotel deals. And
there the other day. Um,
but see, that's the thing. They're all on Trivago and they're going to their hotel deals. And then you say, did you know that our government put out different batches in terms of deadliness of all of the
and they
vaccines?
think you're crazy. I mean,
They don't want to know that.
on the one hand, I guess it's good that so many people can't fathom the idea of like people being so evil, you know, because they couldn't ever think of doing that. But on the other hand, it's like, you got to wake up and realize that yes, these people are so evil and by
Wake up and
ignoring
smell
it,
the spike protein.
yeah, by ignoring it, it doesn't make it go away. It actually makes it worse, and it like doesn't just affect you. It drags us down with the sinking ship,
It absolves all the
sinking
guilty
cruise ship.
actors too.
It drags
That's
us
what
down with the sinking cruise ship.
it drags us down with a sinking cruise ship. Exactly. And Fat Steve was like, I've already prepared for that, man. His rascal is like ready for when he gets down to the water. So, anyways, I think that's it. I think the people have just resigned to this and they don't want to know it because, well, first of all, it's gnarly.
It's gnarly.
That means that the people who rule over us are trying to kill us and
Hmm.
they did an extermination program. Nobody really wants to deal with that because that means that we have to take some action. You know, they say the tree of liberty needs to be watered with the blood of tyrants and patriots occasionally. And I think we're there now. The people that rule over us have shown this. I think cooties was when they really took off their mask in an ironic way. So the
Totally.
ruling elites took off their mask, made us wear a mask, and cooties was when they basically showed their contempt, their bald-faced contempt
Yes.
for the plebs.
And we're going to discuss a little bit more, but I want to talk about the white pill right now because
White
I
pill.
was just thinking about that. Something that I mentioned I think in maybe not the last episode, but maybe the one before that. Um, and we were talking about like the busy mall and stuff, and I said the way these mandates and policies get put into place is that people go along with them and to in order to not allow these things to become you know mandated or some kind of law. I don't think any of them are actually laws, But in order for them to like not be put in there permanently, people need to push back immediately from the get-go. And this reminds me about the whole digital money thing that we keep talking about because this is so important
That's the next step.
that they want us all on this digital currency and people are not fighting back. They're putting this in place in sporting venues, in like mall areas and stuff where they're just not taking cash. And the only way for these things to not be accepted is if a lot of people reject them. Because when everybody goes along with it, if only like two or three people go, I'm not going to do it. Like, I do that. If there's only a few of me, it doesn't matter. They're just going to be like, whatever. But if a lot of people say, no, we're not doing this,
We prove that.
then their plan doesn't work because there's too many people resisting it.
That's what happened during Cooties. When
Yeah.
we went out and did Red Pill Corner, we started a schmevolution, and the people that went against it stopped it because it could have easily been mandated.
Yeah.
Everybody could have had to take it. It could have been, they would have gotten to the point where you wouldn't be able to buy food unless you got it. That's what they
Right.
wanted to
Well, I
roll out.
think they're still like on track for that. I mean, they're still like thinking about that with like now a new sickness and the digital currency is like they're going to put that in so many places that it's already in places where you're kind of like held hostage at some of these
At the
places.
Dodger game or
Yeah,
whatever.
like you go to one of these places and you're hungry or thirsty, and like, what are you going to do? The only way for you to be able to buy something is to use your card. Well, eventually that's going to turn into use your chip, you
I
know?
noticed that's been going on with my Chevron account because, like, I put my phone number in, and dude, I'll save sometimes 25 cents, 30 cents a gallon on my Chevron.
See, they give you incentives.
So they give you incentives,
Yeah.
but when you pay cash, you're not given an opportunity to put in your number. I
Oh.
think you have to stop and tell her. So they kind of make it so like, well, no discounts, pay cash.
Yeah, they make even like so what they're doing in grocery stores now, have you noticed this thing where they have a digital coupon
Yeah,
and they have these really great deals like way cheaper like if you use the digital coupon and I've just been resisting. I'm like I don't need 4 bags of chips anyway or whatever it is. I'm like fine, whatever. But it's really incentivizing. They make it so that if you use this digital coupon, you're going to be paying like half the price. So people, of course, want to save money.
they're driving
They're
behavior
driving
through
behavior.
financial instruments.
So they're driving behavior through financial instruments. They're giving incentives for doing digital behavior. And they're going to make it harder and harder to not do digital behavior. And people are just going along with it in mass, you know?
People have a hard time conceiving of how the vaccines pertain to the digital prison too.
Yeah.
The vaccines pertain to the digital prison because if you don't have your vaccine, you're shut off. Your car's shut off. Your wallet is shut off. So you're basically rendered a prisoner in your own home.
This is what they could do.
Totally.
So when
And then now they also have the thing where it was patent 666. And
Yeah.
Bill Gates goes, you can point your phone at somebody and you can tell which vaccine they had.
I know.
And that's what he loves.
Well,
And remember, he famously said in that TED Talks in 2015, like, if we do a really good job with healthcare and vaccines, remember?
yeah.
If we do a really good job with healthcare and vaccines, we can drop this number down significantly. And
I'm
that number was the population of the human race.
Yeah, I mean, like these people are saying these things and like just regular people are hearing it and it's just going right over their heads or they're just like
He was
gaslit.
frustrated during Cooties. I remember in like 2021, like summer, he comes out on some interview with his pink sweater and he's like, we need everyone on earth to take it now.
Yeah.
Everyone on earth.
Well, remember Biden? He was like, we're losing our patience.
We're losing our patience
He
now.
came out with the red background. He looked like he was Satan himself, like
That
with the
was
red
so bad.
fiery background. It's like,
So like
is
not
this
self-aware,
is
dude.
this supposed to make me like you and like want to do what you're telling me? Because it's not working.
You look like a tyrant, but you look like a weak tyrant who like wanders off on tarmacs and
Falls down the stairs.
poops his pants in front of the Pope. You're not like a scary tyrant.
Yeah.
You're like if,
I think so. They probably, I mean, obviously he didn't make that set himself. They probably had like a set designer who was like, we got to make him seem more powerful and scary. And
totally.
so they went way off the deep end and went the wrong direction.
It was like all red and dark, and then like here comes Mr. Furley up to the
They should have
mic.
actually had him kind of like the backdrop should have been more kind of like the Garden of Eden, and it should have been really beautiful with like birds and butterflies, and he could have been like
We're losing our
Mr.
patience.
Rogers or something and sat down like on a step with a cardigan sweater and said, we're losing our patience. We just really need your help. And that might have gone a little further, but his satanic fiery
Oh,
image didn't really work.
and I was thinking, I thought it was Andrew Cuomo that said, dude, here's Shake Shack burger and fries if you go get the Pokies.
No, it
It
was
wasn't him, it was the mayor of New York, and it was
yeah,
that tall dude. What was his
yeah.
name? I can't remember his name. He was totally just a puppet. And all he did was just go along with the culture club.
Well, he got the saline injection.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally. What was
And
his name?
his name was oh my God, he had kind of a long it was a long weird name,
He was
right?
a tall dude.
Uh-huh. I could
Yeah,
picture him. He was sitting there at the table, the press conference, shoving his face full of the burger and
and the
fries
fries,
and saying that you could get a free burger.
talking with his mouth full, saying,
Hmm.
"You can get one of these. Go get
Hmm.
a shot." Meanwhile, he got the batch that was saline.
And so this point that I'm going to make goes back to our previous episode, which was about the many roads to and from controlled opposition,
Yeah,
where I said I don't think that most of those people even know that they're controlled opposition or what they're actually doing. I don't think
likely.
they're privy to the plan. I think they are controlled by handlers and mind control. Like that guy, he doesn't strike me as being really that smart. And he probably doesn't even know that he had a saline injection. He probably just thinks that he went and got the shot and everybody else needs to do it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's totally a herd behavior.
Uh-huh.
Going to get the vaccines is a full-on herd behavior.
Yeah. Now I know some people who were just terrified, which I think is so sad that they did that to people. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
And
because
they
it is
thought
terrifying.
that somehow this untested thing that they even knew was making people sick was somehow going to protect them and keep them less sick, which is such a mind fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
really, that they somehow convinced people to take something that was like risky that they knew was hurting people because people were watching people drop. Like, I told you that one friend of mine who her dad is a pharmacist and he told her he was watching people literally like, drop, I don't know if dead, but pass out in front of him after taking it and told her not to get it. And I told her not to get it and she wasn't going to do it. And then somehow she got terrified and thought, even after hearing all that, that somehow this poison was going to make her less sick from the actual sickness. It's
The Culture
horrible.
Club hates stories like this, though, because
Yeah.
what this does is completely destroy their credibility.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to administer shots at a couple of countries in Africa that Bill Gates has already been to with his polio shots. And they were like, get out of here. We're not taking any of your shots.
Right.
So some people are hip to it and they're once bitten and twice shy.
Exactly.
So what is the white bill?
Well,
So they had batches going to different people based on demographics They were killing the people they wanted to kill. They did it. They had one of them, which was the most insidious, in my opinion, was the slow kill one.
Right.
Because the fast kill one is like basically they didn't use that much. They didn't deploy the fast kill as much.
Yeah.
The middle one was the one they deployed a lot. So they did all this, and then when it comes out, they're going to lose their credibility. People are going to be like, I do not trust the healthcare system at all.
Totally.
So, that's one of the reasons why they got to manage this is because um they're trying desperately to keep credibility from people and keep people believing in them. And a story like this is just too gnarly. They just realize that they just basically have lost all credibility. So the white pill is keep talking about this stuff, keep
Exactly.
pointing it out because if we don't point it out, they're just gonna keep acting like, no, 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 we're good, we're here for you.
Totally.
But
And
this
I
shows how they are. They go, no, 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 I'm here for you, but here I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, and I think we do need to keep talking about it because now look at they're trying to like roll out some new thing. And I think a lot of the trauma from the cooties has been um forgotten for most people. Like they're kind of people have gone on with their lives and they're like, I always still hear people like go, oh, this happened, and then COVID hit. Or, and then there was COVID. So there's like this before cooties and after cooties. It's like a different time. You know what I mean? Like there's the before and the after, and things are different, but people have kind of gotten back to normal mostly. I mean, you still see some terrified, crazy people walking around with masks, and I've seen an uptick in that, which makes me think that like this hantavirus is terrorizing people.
Yeah.
But I think we have to keep reminding ourselves what they did to us and what they are still trying to do to us and what they're going to try to do again. Because if it's not this hantavirus, it will be something else that they're going to terrorize the people with and,
The
make,
shots are an important part of the agenda.
yeah, make people so scared and tell people that they need to get some kind of pokey poke because they have to get it in people some way or another.
So keep talking about it, keep raising awareness of it because what that does is it destroys all of their
It
credibility.
does. Yeah,
And then that's how we got to build up an alternative healthcare system
right.
is you completely destroy the credibility. This should
Yeah,
destroy their credibility.
yeah,
They rolled out deadly shots to people under the auspices of helping them out. That's pure evil. They
yeah.
should have the Rockefeller healthcare system should be shut down just based on this one article.
Right. Totally.
Just completely shut down. It's completely lost its credibility. They poisoned masses and they poisoned them at different levels, and it was based on demographics. It was full on mass murder.
Hmm.
This is mass murder.
Hmm.
There's no other way to talk about it.
Right.
Put it in. And then plus these pokies have a bunch of mind control in them.
I think you're right. I think
So
totally.
the white pill is keep talking about this stuff and be aware of it. And also, as always, get out completely of the Rockefeller healthcare system.
Right.
Understand how evil it is. This story is true. This is not false. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is true.
Totally.
Is that it?
I think that was a good synopsis of the situation.
That was
So
good.
yeah, I hope
Don't get
pe-
any
I
vaccines.
hope people will share this because it's important. And if
No
you know
hantavirus
if
vaccine.
you know people who are, going and getting all their boosters, share this with them. Maybe you never know when you plant seeds, you never know when somebody's ready for a seed to
They
sprout.
might deny it while they're talking to you, but later on when they're in bed, they're gonna be like, but I think that's probably true.
Exactly.
Because your gut tells you this is true.
Yeah, totally.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.